Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Coffee with Craig show. We'll be talking about commercial real estate in Central and Eastern Europe. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this special edition of the Coffee with Craig show. It's our HR People on the Move monthly show with Mark Twomey, the president of Terra HR Consulting. Mark, welcome.
Hey,
welcome
Craig.
to the show this month.
Thank you.
So I guess we're going to be talking about January and January changes to the market, yeah?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I think this year it was funny. Last year I was looking at things at the end of last year, and I was kind of trying to look into a crystal ball and see how things were going to move this year. There's a lot of different opinions and different reports about going around the market, but straight out of the blocks in January it was really busy.
Right. Okay.
So a lot of people starting in January. And of course, again, we're only just kind of able to pick out a few here, kind of almost kind of randomly. But yeah, it's been really, really busy in January. We picked up, I think, 7 or 8 new mandates for January alone.
Wow. Okay.
So I was expecting a little bit of a kind of maybe a slow start, but no.
So if you get a mandate in January, are they looking for someone for March then, or is it even quicker?
Even faster as
Really?
it's possible in a lot of cases, yeah. But a lot of people have 3-month notices, so
Right. So even April, May.
Could be April, May by the time they start. So let's jump into a few of these.
Sure.
Who started in January. The first one is Magda Tarowska, who has started with joined Logi Center's team in Poland, NREP's logistics brand, which is run here by Soren, who we all know.
Sure.
And Magda's a really, really great professional. She came from P3, where she spent 6 years in leasing in P3. So she joined Logi Centers to try and a head of commercial at Logi Centers. So obviously, everything involving leasing, and obviously those guys are looking to increase their presence in Poland for this year. So best of luck to Mag, best of luck to Soren and Logi Centers. Moving on. Wood & Co. Real Estate, who are originally Slovak, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Probably Czech. There's a mix of Czech and Slovak in it. So last year they bought a couple of assets in Warsaw, and they, like a lot of kind of Czech Slovak funds who entered the Polish market in the last year or so, they've been developing a portfolio,
right? And
now it's come time for them to hire. They have a local Czech guy, Jan Holub, who's been here for the last while, and now they've added Monica Sheridan to their team as leasing director for Poland. Right. Monica's been around for a while, very experienced lady. Before that, she was with TFG Asset Management. Prior to that, she was with Cushman for a couple of years. So knows her way around. So best of luck to Wood & Co. and Monica.
Yeah, it seems like Poland is like the good hunting grounds for investors from Czech and Slovakia.
Yeah, it's the
projects.
Yeah, and I think I think we're not really going to see any deviation from that in 2023. I think we'll see probably more if anything. So Isabella Stanczyk has joined Heimstaden, Poland, as head of letting. Actually, I just realized she actually joined earlier on in the year in a marketing role, and now she's taking over letting and marketing. She has experience with it because she was with Resi for Rent for 2 years prior to joining Heimstaden. So she knows that model, she knows that business. And Heimstaden guys have been growing steadily here. The portfolio is growing and stabilizing, and now they're starting to build out the team as well. Right. So and I just saw Shermick was promoted to country head as well. So congratulations to him as well. So yeah.
Their PRS plan seems to be coming together now.
Yeah.
Quite well.
Yeah. Exactly. Moving on, Daria Pavelko has joined Deloitte as Senior Manager Sustainability Consulting Center for Central Europe. Now, Daria was with Atrium for 3.5 years as head of innovation and sustainability. So she's a very experienced lady for this sector. And I know Deloitte have been making a lot of hires in the last year on ESG. They're really putting the ESG agenda to the front of their bill.
Sure.
So now they've built quite a big team there as well. So they're really and ESG consultancy.
Great business.
Yeah.
Great business these days.
In general, over the last kind of year, 18 months or so has been really growing. And we've seen a lot of the consultancies, a lot of the commercial agencies as well, start to build their capability on that. So great move for Daria and great move for the guys in Deloitte. Next, we move on to an old friend of ours, Jason Sharma.
Yeah, sure. Just talked to him yesterday.
Oh, right. Yeah. Okay. I need to catch up with him, actually. Yeah. So Jason started with London-based developer Chancery Gate, and his role is based out of London, so he's going to move himself back, but he will be European director.
Right.
So he's going to focus on mainland Europe, looking for development or acquisition opportunities, from what I understand. I think they'll start with Western Europe, but obviously Jason having lived in this region for many years, I'm sure there will be opportunities that he will know about in this part of the world.
For sure, yeah.
So we may see them here at some point in the future. But anyway, it's a fantastic role. It's a great company. It's a fantastic role for Jason. So we're all delighted for Jason.
Well, a lot of great opportunities in Western Europe, so for development. So.
Yeah, absolutely. This is almost this wasn't planned, but almost kind of coincidentally. In Church and Jason Sharman, they kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so why you put them next to each other? Yeah, okay.
Completely unplanned. But actually, Ian has come back to Poland with Frontier Estates.
Oh, okay.
Polska. So he had been, I'm not sure where he'd been living before. I'm sure he's back and forth, but I know he'd been with Ecom for about 4 years. And I think there was a stint with CBRE management services between that. But Frontier Estates, we know from Poland have been gathering speed. And they brought in Ian to help them grow and further the business in Poland.
Right.
So Ian's a lot of experience, knows the region very well, spent many years here, so great guy to do it.
Well, looking forward to see Ian. You have to invite him to one of the Indian nights.
Absolutely.
Curry nights. Sorry.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So moving along, Patrick Kolzieski has started a new position, founding partner of NextCare Central Eastern Europe. Now, this is interesting because one of the reasons I picked this out is because, this senior care sector is probably, we've looked at all these other kind of housing sectors that have been developing over the last couple of years, like student housing, co-living, PRS, all that. But, the senior housing sector is one I think that we'll see a lot more of in Poland in the future. Because there are a lot of seniors and there's very few senior housing, and I think that a lot of the population now have I think they've gotten to a wealth level where they can now maybe consider that as an option rather than taking a mom and dad into the home as well. So it's
well, if you have the money and you're a bit active, you don't want to live with your kids either, right?
Well, that's
that side too. You're like,
Yeah, and a lot of these, particularly I've seen them in Ireland as well. A lot of these assisted living centres are for elderly people are actually really great, and it's much more social than elderly people living alone. So it's good. But anyway, so Patrick's, if I'm not mistaken, Patrick's dad is Alexander, who's got Hotel Professionals. So these kind of businesses kind of
go together.
And I think Alexander is involved in this as well. So, but yeah, I think this will be the next.
Yeah, I like NextCare, also a good name.
Yeah, so this will be the next.
We were always calling them old folks' homes. It sounds so horrible. They're way too expensive to call them that now.
Yeah, you have to get with the times.
Yeah.
FBO, it's PC now.
Yeah, exactly. They're not old anymore.
So good luck to Patrick. Anyway, it's a great sector, and I think we'll see a lot more of that.
Well, the U.S. it's a huge sector. Yeah, they love it. Yeah, they love it. My mom and her husband were looking at places, and they're like, yeah, we're not sure if we want to move in, and I'm like, this is like the Marriott. I want to move in. Yeah, I'm ready to move in.
Don't worry.
I'll get my time.
You'll get your time soon enough.
Yeah.
So one final one, actually, an announcement from the Europa Property page. Our friends over at Reassurance have made yet another hire. Their team is really growing rapidly. So Karol Iwanowski has joined as senior tax advisor.
Oh, okay.
Now, obviously, from the property insurance business, the tax side of things has become really, really a really, really interesting area. So,
one wrong move, you make you pay a lot of tax.
Yeah. Well, there's also VAT issues and stuff like that, reclaiming, and so there's, it is a precarious side of the business, and something that you really, companies are really paying a lot of attention to. And so Reassurance have brought in Karol as a tax specialist to deal with all these complicated cases. Prior to that, he was a tax underwriter with Equinox, and then he cut his teeth at PwC for a couple of years as a junior, making his way up. So great hire for the Reassurance guys. Great to see that team growing. And
so is he based here in Warsaw?
Based in Warsaw. So that's it for the month. That's for the month of January. As I said, it's been a really, really busy start to the year. I don't know how long that will continue. Maybe it's just the January rush that we get.
Could be.
It'll probably tail off. I'm kind of curious to see how the year will really look in kind of April, May, when things start to settle down a bit. But
we're having meetings, and not always talking about HR, but sometimes one meeting, someone will say the market's dead, no one's hiring, everyone's cutting. The next meeting I go to, they're like, gosh, we need to hire another 3 or 4 people.
Yeah.
So it seems very choppy, or at least I don't know. I mean, it seems to be in the middle. I mean, not being in HR, but just the people I'm talking to. Some of them are laying off, and some of them seem to be hiring as fast as they can.
Yeah. Well, I guess the only guys who are coming to me are guys who are hiring. So.
True. Yeah. Exactly. Well, exactly. I mean, I guess similar with us. If they're hiring, if they're expanding and they're doing more marketing, they're probably hiring too. So it's probably the same. If they're cutting, usually the marketing budget's getting cut.
But I am actually getting more and more CDs into my inbox. So that's also an indicator that there is something, more on the negative side happening in the market. Companies are changing, and more people are coming onto the market, which is actually kind of good for me in a selfish sort of way, because we need more people to. You
need people that want jobs, right?
Yeah. So everybody's been kind of tied up with their current jobs, So a bit more kind of flow in the market.
Well, we'll see next month.
Yeah,
if it's still booming, or still hiring. Okay. Yeah. Well, Mark, thank you very much. Mark Twomey, president of Tara HR Consulting. Thank you for joining us this month, or every month, letting us know what's going on the HR side for Central Eastern Europe and for commercial real estate side. So enjoy your rest of your day. Thank you for watching the Coffee with Craig show, and we will see you for the news. Click here to subscribe to the Coffee with Craig show, and don't forget to share it with your friends.